must believe. We have only just taken the first step.
I feel nothing.
There are visitors here already. Ministers, bishops, and other sundry big shots in the royal court have come to pay their respects. The world is as kind as it is cruel, so to speak.
Griffith the White Hawk, a man of beauty, ambition, and unimaginable charisma, the leader of the Band of the Hawk, and a symbol of hope for many. But after the infamous eclipse, what remains of Griffith? Can a man so deeply broken by both physical and psychological torment still be considered the same person? Or has something darker, more twisted, emerged from the ashes? To understand Griffith's transformation, we must first examine who he was before the torture. Griffith was not just a commander, he was a dreamer. His aspirations for power and kingdom building were unmatched. He charmed and manipulated those around him to achieve his goals, believing in the absolute importance of his dream above all else. A knight in shining armor, with a band of mercenaries that step by step became the world renowned and was about to be knighted by the king. It was a family that had a lot of success together, both in harsh and easy times. It's no coincidence that that particular arc is called the Golden Age. It was a time of prosperity and overcoming of obstacles, but always in a manner of upward trajectory. Then came the torture. The dream that once burned brightly in Griffith's eyes was extinguished by agony. For a year, Griffith endured unspeakable horrors in the Tower of Rebirth. The very body that once symbolized his divine beauty and unmatched potential was ravaged, bones broken, skin marred, voice stolen. But the physical pain was only the beginning. What does it mean to be shattered? Not just physically, but mentally. Griffith's torture was a stripping away of his identity. His strength, charm, and ability to manipulate those around him, all gone. He was reduced to nothing, a shadow of his former self. Yet even in this shattered state, something darker festered within him. When a person's core is obliterated, do they become someone entirely new? Or does a darker version of their former self take root? Griffith's mind never stopped clinging to his dream, but now it was warped by anger, desperation, and humiliation. And why so? Well, when one person endures the consequences of his own ignorance and arrogance, it stirs up emotions of extremeness that are quite irreparable. When something such as torture robs you of your physical gifts, not only can he not live by himself anymore and is constantly in need of assistance, which is humiliating to say the least, for a man that was regarded to be on a path to be a king, but also his social bonds became broken, most noticeably Griffith's potential romantical relationships. A man of pride is bitterly defeated once he cannot hold power over something like love. In the moment of the eclipse, Griffith was given a choice: continue to live as a broken, discarded man, or sacrifice everything he once loved to ascend beyond mortality. His choice to become the God's Hand member, Femto, represents more than a power grab. It signifies the death of his former self and the birth of something entirely different. Griffith's transformation into Femto raises questions about identity. Is he still Griffith, the White Hawk who once led the Band of the Hawk? Or is he now an entirely different being? One could argue that the man known as Griffith died in that dungeon, his body and soul too mutilated to even return to his former glory. Appearance plays a big role in the storytelling of Berserk, and thus in the contrasting of one's identity. Particularly if there was to be a switch, like in the case of Griffith. It is consciously done so that Griffith is scarily different after the torture from what he had been, because in that manner it symbolizes a man who is not quite himself anymore. And that scares human beings, who are really attuned to recognizing faces and reacting to them in an emotional accordance. Look at one of the earliest stages of human life, a baby human, and see how they react to the change in appearance of mom or dad. They cry when dad has shaved his long beard, or mom has put on a peeling mask for the purpose of skincare. This mechanism doesn't disappear from us. We just don't show distress right away if there is nothing that comes near the extreme. Not until we see a mutilated or dead family member or close person do we become thoroughly afflicted. Who is this new person in front of me? Is it still the one I once knew by sight? Consider the fear of doppelgangers, or faces that eerily resemble each other, such as twins, who are often used as an effect in scary movies. Whose identity am I perceiving then? In the case of Griffith, however, some argue that this new identity, femto, is merely the ultimate manifestation of who Griffith always was. Even before the torture, Griffith was willing to sacrifice anything for his dream. His ruthlessness was always present. It's just that now it has become amplified and freed from human constraints. So what remains of Griffith after the torture? A broken man? A demon? Or perhaps both? The torture did not just break his body. It forced him to confront the fragility of his humanity. In choosing to cast it aside, Griffith embraced a monstrous identity. Yet this monster was born from the very ambitions and desires that defined him all along. Could you trust this version of Griffith? Clearly not, as seen through his actions of sacrificing his own friends to the bloody appetite of mere demons. But when did trust actually break? Was it just during the eclipse? Was it just before the torture? Was there ever really enough trust between Griffith and the others that you would know that you are fully in it together? That is maybe one of the most disturbing questions you can ask somebody. Is there a scenario where you will vehemently betray me and leave me to rot? Is it moments that significantly change the identity of a person, such as the torture of Griffith? Or do we just unlock something hidden all along that waits to be unfolded in the grand scheme of destiny and fate? Well, what is it? We don't truly know. Hence why trustworthiness has been one of the most important human qualities to this day, and that's why betrayal is at the bottom of hell, as Dante describes it in his Divine Comedy. That's exactly where the Golden Age arc ends, in a nightmare because of treachery. Griffith may have become something inhuman after the eclipse, but in many ways he was always on this path. The torture was not the birth of a monster. It was merely the catalyst that revealed the true nature of the man who once called himself the White Hawk. And as we watch his actions unfold, we are left to wonder, is Griffith still who he once was? Or has his identity been forever consumed by the darkness?